The very essence of European tranquility is under siege. Across Europe, a chilling new reality is taking hold. The once peaceful streets now echo with an unsettling silence, a silence that speaks volumes. Organised crime, once a shadow lurking in the corners of society, is now a roaring monster, leaving a trail of bloodshed and fear in its wake. The scale and audacity of these criminal enterprises are unprecedented. We're not talking about petty theft or small-time drug deals. This is different. This is a sophisticated, well-oiled machine operating with ruthless precision. This is about powerful criminal networks operating with chilling efficiency, their tentacles reaching into every corner of society. They infiltrate businesses, corrupt officials, and exploit the vulnerable. From the cobbled streets of Copenhagen to the canals of Amsterdam, the story is the same, a terrifying surge in violence fueled by drugs, guns, and a brutal battle for power. The picturesque landscapes now hide dark secrets. This isn't some Hollywood action flick. This is a grim reality far removed from the silver screen. This is real life unfolding right now on our doorsteps. The danger is palpable and the stakes are higher than ever. We see it in the faces of terrified residents, in the bullet-riddled cars abandoned in broad daylight, in the desperate pleas of police officers overwhelmed by the escalating violence. The fear is tangible, the anxiety ever-present. It's a stark reminder that nowhere is immune to the seductive power and brutal reality of organized crime. Even the safest neighborhoods are not spared. This isn't just a problem for the authorities to solve. It's a societal issue that demands collective action. It's a threat to the very fabric of our society, to our sense of safety and security. Families live in constant fear, their peace shattered. We can't afford to turn a blind eye. Ignorance and apathy will only allow this menace to grow stronger. We must confront this growing menace head-on, understand its roots, and work together to find solutions before it's too late. Community involvement is crucial. The time to act is now. We must unite, stand firm, and reclaim our streets from the grip of fear. Sweden, a nation long admired for its peace and prosperity, has always been seen as a model of social stability and economic success. However, it is now grappling with a horrifying new reality, a dramatic surge in gang violence that has shocked the world. Once a beacon of social harmony, where families felt safe and communities thrived, its cities are now scarred by shootings, explosions, and a palpable sense of fear. It's a shocking transformation, a stark contrast to the Sweden we once knew. This serves as a stark warning that the reach of organized crime knows no bounds and can infiltrate even the most peaceful societies. What's even more alarming is the age of those involved. Teenagers, barely old enough to shave, are being drawn into this world of violence, lured by the promise of quick money and a sense of belonging. Armed with military-grade weapons, they patrol the streets like seasoned soldiers, their young lives already entangled in a web of crime and brutality. The sight of teenagers wielding such power is both heartbreaking and terrifying. Their futures, once bright with potential, now seem overshadowed by a life of crime. The situation has become so dire that the Swedish government has been forced to take unprecedented measures. The military, once confined to barracks and training grounds, is now helping the police, a visible reminder of the severity of the crisis. This is not a decision taken lightly. It reflects the gravity of the situation. The government is making a desperate attempt to regain control, to restore order to a nation teetering on the brink. But is it enough? The question remains unanswered. As the nation watches and waits, the hope is that peace will once again prevail in Sweden. Christiania, the self-proclaimed free town of Copenhagen, was once a symbol of peace, a social experiment where tolerance and creativity flourished. Tourists flocked to its vibrant streets, drawn by its bohemian atmosphere and communal spirit. It was a place where anything seemed possible, a haven for free spirits and alternative lifestyles. But today, Christiania is a shadow of its former self. its spirit crushed under the weight of gang violence and drug trafficking. The colourful murals that once adorned its walls are now marred by bullet holes, a stark reminder of the violence that has gripped this once peaceful haven. The sound of laughter has been replaced by the deafening roar of police sirens and the chilling echo of gunfire. How did this happen? How did a place founded on principles of peace and community become a battleground for ruthless gangs? Was it a failure of policy, a blind eye turned to the creeping influence of organized crime? Or was it something more insidious, a reflection of the growing darkness that threatens to engulf us all? Belgium and the Netherlands, strategically located at the heart of Europe, have become major hubs for the international drug trade. Their ports, some of the busiest in the world, are gateways for illicit substances. Vast quantities of cocaine, heroin and synthetic drugs flow through their ports, flooding the continent and fueling a wave of addiction and violence. These drugs are hidden in everyday shipments, making detection a constant challenge for authorities. This isn't just a victimless crime. The impact is felt in every corner of society. It's a brutal business, with rival gangs battling for control of lucrative smuggling routes, leaving a trail of destruction in their wake. These confrontations often spill into public spaces, endangering innocent lives. The human cost of this trade is staggering. Hospitals are overwhelmed with overdose cases, and communities are left to mourn the loss of loved ones. We see it in the faces of addicts, their lives shattered by their dependence. Support groups struggle to provide the necessary help, often underfunded and understaffed. We see it in the families torn apart by drug-related violence. The emotional and psychological toll on these families is immeasurable. And we see it in the brazen assassinations that have become all too common, a chilling reminder of the ruthlessness of these criminal organizations. These acts of violence are meant to instill fear and maintain control. One particularly shocking incident involved the assassination of a prominent Dutch crime journalist, gunned down in broad daylight on the streets of Amsterdam. His death sent shockwaves through the nation. This was not just an attack on an ordinary man, it was an attack on freedom of the press, a brazen attempt to silence those who dare to expose the truth about the criminal underworld. Journalists now face increased risks, but their resolve to uncover the truth remains unshaken. Here's the reality. This isn't just about Sweden, Denmark or the Netherlands. It's about the future of Europe. Organized crime is evolving faster than governments can respond. Do we double down on law enforcement? Do we focus on education and social reform? Or do we rethink our entire approach, from drug laws to international cooperation? This isn't just a story, it's your future. What happens if this trend spreads? What would you do if this were your neighborhood? Tell us your thoughts in the comments. Do we need harsher crackdowns, or is there a better way? Share this video and let's start the conversation. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Together, we can shed light on stories that matter.